Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Yatonvayaditaratascharthe Shabhignaswarat Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we will be discussing from the 12th verse of the 7th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Parikshito Atharajarsher Janma Karma Vilapanam Samstham Cha Panduputranam Vakshe Krishna Kathodayam. The meaning of this verse is, Suta Goswami thus addressed the rishis headed by Shaunaka. What did Suta Goswami tell the sages? Now I shall begin the transcendental narration of the Lord Sri Krishna and topics of the birth, activities and deliverance of King Parikshit, the sage amongst kings, as well as topics of the renunciation of the worldly order by the sons of Pandu. See, Suta Goswami began telling the sage Sunaimicharya in the 3rd chapter. After answering their initial 6 questions, Suta Goswami started telling them, I see that you are very eager to hear about Krishna. So best is that I narrate the Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is Krishna Katha. Therefore, here he is telling, I shall begin transcendental narration of the Lord Sri Krishna. And how will he begin such a narration of Krishna Katha? By narrating topics of the birth, activities and deliverance of King Parikshit, the Rajarshi, as well as topics of the renunciation of the worldly order by the sons of Pandu, by the Pandavas' renunciation. What is the connection between Pandavas renouncing this world and Krishna Katha? And again, what is the connection between Parikshit's birth, activities and deliverance with Krishna Katha? So Srila Prabhupada explains this very important point in the purport. Srila Prabhupada says, Lord Krishna is so kind to the fallen souls that he personally incarnates himself among the different kinds of living entities and takes part with them in daily activities. See, this is very important to understand. Krishna is completely transcendental to all material modes of nature, to the material existence itself. But still, when Krishna takes birth in this material world, transcendental appearance, he also takes part with all kinds of living entities in daily activities which appear like ordinary activities but which are completely transcendental. So, Srila Prabhupada says, any historical fact, old or new, which has a connection with the activities of the Supreme Lord Krishna, is to be understood as a transcendental narration of the Lord Sri Krishna. Narration about the activities of Krishna, or any fact, historical fact in connection with Krishna's activities, is actually a transcendental narration of Krishna only. Without Krishna, all the supplementary literatures like the Puranas and Mahabharata are simply stories or historical facts. But with Krishna, in connection with Krishna, they become transcendental. The same historical narrations which are in relationship with Krishna become transcendental narrations. And without minus Krishna, they're all material facts, material histories. That's all. When we hear the activities of the devotees of Krishna in relationship with Krishna, we at once become transcendentally related with Krishna. Immediately the connection, spiritual connection is established. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is also a Purana. Purana means that which contains a very ancient history. But the special significance of this Purana, Bhagavata Purana, is that the activities of the Lord are central and not just supplementary historical facts. The activities of Lord Krishna are central in this Purana particularly. Srimad Bhagavatam is thus recommended by Lord Sri Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is thus recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the spotless Purana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called this Amala Purana, spotless Purana. That means in this Purana, there is nothing material, no material subject matter. Birth, activities of Parikshit Maharaj, this is not material description. Because the central topic is the activities of Krishna. Everything is centered around the activities of Krishna. Every narration, you will find there is some relationship with activities of Krishna, connection with activities of Krishna. Without such a connection with Krishna, none of these narrations are spiritual. They are simply material. Now, here is an important point Prabhupada is stressing. There is a class of less intelligent devotees of Bhagavata Purana who desire to relish at once the activities of the Lord narrated in the 10th canto without first understanding the primary cantos. See, Bhagavatam is presented by Vyasadeva systematically in 12 cantos. 12 cantos. First canto, second canto, third canto. We are in the first canto now. Okay. Like this, there are 12 cantos. Each canto is very big. Each canto contains several chapters. Each chapter contains several verses. And each verse has got so much of depth. We just went through the Atmarama verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave 61 meanings of the Atmarama verse. Of course, I didn't describe all the 61 meanings, but I described some of them. Like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu points out, there is so much depth in the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the spotless Purana because it contains narrations of the activities of Krishna which are central to everything discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, it's not that the 10th canto, which specifically describes Krishna's appearance and activities as the original personality of Godhead alone is important. No. Every single canto of Bhagavatam, beginning from the first canto, is having spiritual descriptions of spiritual potency centered around the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna only. Krishna appears not only in his original form as Krishna, he also appears in his various transcendental forms of incarnation: Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Matsya, Kurma, and so many incarnations. All those descriptions are there. And not only he himself, his devotees, his pure devotees, the Pandavas, Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadev Goswami, all pure devotees' activities, their narrations, their histories, their descriptions, everything is 100% spiritual. So Srila Prabhupada clarifies, these people who jump to the 10th canto without reading or hearing or studying the first 9 cantos, they are under the false impression that the other cantos are not concerned with Krishna. That's what these foolish people think. And thus, more foolishly than intelligently, they take to the reading of the 10th canto. They directly jump to the 10th canto. They say we have nothing to do with Pandavas and Parikshit and Prithu Maharaj and Prachetas. All that we are not interested. We are only interested in Krishna Leela. But actually, these readers are specifically told herein that the other cantos of the Bhagavatam are as important as the 10th canto. That's why, what does Suta Goswami tell the sages in this verse? Vakshe Krishna Kathodayam. Vakshe Krishna Kathodayam. I am going to narrate the history of the birth, the activities and deliverance of King Parikshit, as well as the topics of renunciation of the Pandavas. Now, what has that got to do with Krishna Katha? That is what exactly we have to understand. The devotees are never without Krishna, and Krishna is never without devotees. Neither does Krishna perform activities alone, nor do devotees perform any activity alone without Krishna. So, devotees are always situated in Krishna consciousness, and Krishna is always doing everything in relationship with his devotees. He is never without his devotees. So, this is the most important point to understand why one should go through every canto of the Bhagavatam. Therefore, Prabhupada says, no one should try to go into the matters of the 10th canto without having thoroughly understood the purport of the other 9 cantos. You cannot appreciate Krishna's pastimes properly, the spiritual value of that, without going through the first 9 cantos. Why? Vyasadeva, the author, is preparing the reader to better appreciate Krishna's transcendental activities in the 10th canto by describing the activities of Krishna's pure devotees and Krishna's incarnations in 9 cantos. Systematically, Vyasadeva develops the subject matter. So, Srila Prabhupada concludes by telling, Krishna and his pure devotees like the Pandavas are on the same plane, spiritual platform, pure devotional platform. Krishna is not without his devotees of all the rasas. Krishna is described as Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. He is full of varieties of rasas and he is an ocean of all rasas. And the pure devotees like Pandavas are not without Krishna. They are never without Krishna. So the devotees and the Lord are interlinked and they can never be separated. Never. Therefore, talks about them all are Krishna Katha. Talks about the devotees, talks about Krishna in relationship with the devotees, or talks about the devotees in relationship with Krishna. Everything is Krishna Katha. That we have to understand. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.